Hello everyone, I am Punakirti BL. Welcome to my Python for Generative AI learning series. In this series, we are focusing on Python basics that will help us to build a strong foundation for implementing generative AI concepts. So let's dive in and start today's session. So this video is not for basic Python. We are starting with Google API SDK, which we will explain step by step procedure to call Gemini API. So which will call Gemini LLMs from here. So let's start with our introduction. So understanding Google API SDKs. When we build modern applications, we often want to use powerful services instead of creating everything ourselves. Google provides many such services: maps, search, photos, and even advanced artificial intelligence models. To make these services easy to use in our programs, Google provides something called an API SDK. In this lesson, we will understand what a Google API SDK is, learn why developers use SDKs, see how an SDK simplifies communication with Google services, walk through a real Python example using Google's Gemini AI. So let's understand what is Google API SDK. A Google API SDK, it is a software development kit, is a collection of tools and ready-made code that helps your application communicate with Google's services. Instead of directly talking to Google's systems in a complicated way, the SDK acts like a translator and helper between your app and Google. You can think of it as toolbox designed to make developers' lives easier. Why SDKs are important? They are simple connections to Google services. Without an SDK, developers would need to manually write complex requests and handle technical details. An SDK provides easy to use functions that let your application talk to Google services with just a few lines of code. It takes care of complex technical work. The SDK automatically manages secure authentication, sending requests in correct format, understanding Google's responses. This means the developers don't have to worry about internal rules or security mechanisms. Faster development, building everything from scratch takes time. SDKs provide pre-built components, allowing developers to focus on application logic rather than infrastructure. Different SDKs for different Google services. There is no single SDK for everything. Google provides separate SDKs for different services such as Google Maps for Google Maps SDK, Google Photos SDK, Google AI, that is Gemini SDK. Each SDK optimized for specific service it supports. So it acts as a bridge. At a high level, the SDK works like a bridge between your application and Google's technology, ensuring smooth and reliable communication. Introducing the Google Gemini SDK. Now let's see how this idea works in real code using Google's Gemini AI model. Gemini is a generative AI model that can answer questions, explain concepts, generate text. The Gemini SDK allows us to interact with this AI easily. Let's understand basic Python example using Gemini. So here we have Google to import Gen AI, and we have to get the Gemini API key for this. So we already have code here in our Google Colab which has line by line. We can go through that. Before this we can run and we can see whatever it is there. So here whatever model we are specifying, this is LLM model Gemini 2.5 flashlight, which is we are using. To use this, we need Gemini API key. To access this, first we need to log in to aistudio.google.com. Once we load this, and when we logged in or sign up using our Gmail, we have option called get API key. So here API key we need to create. I am creating a new API key, Gemini API key for the test project. Create. So name I will have to give. I am giving it as test. Then creating. It takes couple of seconds to create a new key. Once this key is created, we can copy here and let's go and paste here, or we can use environment variables and all, but here for the sample demo I am using directly API key and we are hitting. Here our question is explain how AI works in few words. AI learns from the data, the response we got. So this is the code we ran. Let's understand what is this code, how it works. So first one is step by step explanation of the code. First thing is importing the SDK from Google. Import Gen AI. In Google Colab it is already installed, that's why we are getting it from Google import to Gen AI. Otherwise we need to install this to our Python environment, then we have to import this. This line loads Google's generative AI tools into our program. Without this, Python would not know how to access Gemini. So creating a client, that is authentication. Client is equal to GenAI.client. We have to pass the API key. Here we create a client object which represents our connection to Google. The API key works like a digital ID. It tells Google who you are. It confirms that you are allowed to use the service. Asking the AI to generate content. Response is equal to client.models.generate content. Model is equal to Gemini 2.5 flashlight. This is our code. Contents means whatever prompt we are passing. This is the main operation. We select a specific AI model. We provide an instruction or question. The AI processes the request and generates a response. The model used here is lightweight and fast, suitable for quick answers. Then is displaying the output. So print response.text. The AI's answer is stored inside the response object. This line extracts the generated text and prints it to the screen. This is all overall code we are able to see here. So if I remove this and let's see how response will look like. See, whole response look like this. Only we are taking the response.text as part of this one. So this will automatically get this data. Okay, now let's understand another example asking a different question. So here give a simple definition of machine learning. This is my question. I'm changing that question and response.text. Automatically it should answer our question here. So we can use this question and here I'm adding response with, I only want text, I don't want the tokens and all other information. Now it is connected and machine learning is a way to teach computer. This is the response we received from the Gemini 2.5 flashlight LLM. So this shows how easy to change the input and get different results. The SDK handles everything else automatically. Key takeaways for the students who are viewing my video: you don't directly talk to Google's internal system. The SDK simplifies authentication, communication, and responses. A few lines of clean code can access powerful AI models. Changing the prompt changes the AI's output. The SDKs are essential tools for modern AI development. Let's wrap up. Google API SDKs are designed to remove complexity from application development. They provide a clean, safe, and efficient way to use Google's powerful services. By using the Gemini SDK, even beginners can start building AI powered applications without understanding the internal mechanics of AI systems. Quick recap. In this lesson, you learned what a Google API SDK is, why SDKs are used instead of raw APIs, how SDKs simplify authentication and communication, how to use the Google Gemini SDK in Python, how a few lines of code can interact with the advanced AI models. This foundation prepares you to explore more advanced AI features and real world applications. So, thank you for watching today's session. This is part of Python for Generative AI learning series. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Also, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. The link is in the description. See you in the next session. Thank you very much.